the interview, and then we can get started there, Coach Morena. Just maybe potso ya pele nka botsa fela or how are things going. Rebone, we noticed where Botswana didn't have any fixtures during this international break. I'm sure it was strategic also going into major competitions as well. Ha re qale moo, how has it been settling in and building up to major competitions as well?
Yeah, no, re ke lebohe ngwana mme ke dumedise basebetsi mmoho le wena. Yeah, to be honest, it has been a very busy phase for us, and we had also to sit down and plan properly because I think my challenges or my problems are not the same as those of Coach Hugo and many other coaches in different countries. So with me, I had a choice of choosing between playing a friendly game now, allow players go back to the clubs, and get them maybe around the 7th of December, which for me it was very close for us to have a proper preparation that we would want to have. So we ended up sitting down and agreeing that the best thing that we can do for now is to try and make sure that we allow the fixtures to play so that we can be able to get about 4 weeks of preparation, which I think it will also be very, very important for us to have more time in terms of preparing. As you all know, that 90% of our players are local players. So the most important thing is to have that proper camp where we are going to drill things and try to make sure that they go into to a tournament and automatize whatever that we've been drilling. Honestly, it's not going to be an easy challenge for us. So we need to have a proper preparation.
Thanks, Coach. I'm gonna move on to the Q&A section now with our colleagues. But before that, Kiabona Chairman Waka Velile Mnyandu has just joined. So I'd love for him just to welcome you officially as well, say a few words. And I'm sure he'll go ahead and khoe the first question and then Ratlabulela a few other colleagues.
Okay.
Chairman, go for it. You are muted,
Oh,
Chairman.
sorry, I'm muted. Okay, yeah. Thanks, SG. Hello, Coach. How are you?
Good and you, Bravi?
No, I'm good, Coach. I'm good, Coach. Hey, my apologies for wearing the wrong top. I'm just celebrating their demise.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
Yeah, no. But thanks so much, my coach, for honoring our invite to be here. We don't take this for granted. The time you're spending with us. We also know the hectic Pro 5-man squad selection, celebrating the good work you've been doing in Botswana. You have not risen to that big post by luck. You've made your mark in that country, taking Jwaneng Galaxy to group stages in a premium club competition like the CAF Champions League group stages. So as you embark on the big assignment next month, becoming the first South African coach to coach another country at the Afcon. So this interview today with our Safja members is just a reassurance of how fully we're behind you. We've showed some of it as some members of this organization by coming there to be with you when you're at your club previously and now also with Botswana. And in the next few days, you will see the stories coming from this platform that we're having now. That will all, and wish you all the best next month.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Bravi. I really appreciate.
With that said, Coach Kaleka Kamugelo Mukhale, he will get the first bite, and then Jabulo Ngiti will follow after that. Kamu, go for it. The coach is listening.
Thank you, SG. Khotsohle Mokwetlisi, ke o dumedise Kamogelo Mogale from VOW FM. Mokwetlisi, I just want to ask, I mean, we've seen your reign, joining Galaxy, you know, what you've done with the team. How has that, you being at the helm of Joining, how has that shaped you as a coach and also understanding the culture and the football heritage ya Botswana for you to now be where you are as the head coach of the national team?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kamu. I think what is important or what happened, I spent some years in Lesotho, and for me to understand the game there, I had to firstly understand the types of players they have in the country, and I think that was a building block for me coming to Botswana, because when I got here already, I knew that there are things that in South Africa we do, but there are things that in other countries are not doing. And there are things that we expect in South Africa, and there are things that in other countries they're not even worried about. So for me, I think it was important to understand the players and also to understand people I'm working with and also the people that are running the club, because sometimes the biggest mistake we make is to think that I am the coach. I'm the one that is making decisions, and I don't have to consult with the management, or I don't have to inform them. But the most important thing is firstly to make them understand why you are doing certain things. Secondly, we have this thing of thinking that I am the coach, I make decisions, and players must just listen and do what I want. But the most important thing is for them to know why you want to do certain things and how do you want them to support you. And goes with the also going with the technical team. They should also understand what you want to do and why you're doing it, so that they can be able to give you 100% support. And those are some of the things that I think helped me, because I did not bring too many people when I got to joining. I only brought the analyst, and for the analyst, his job was to make sure that he helps us to get the information and all of that. And the good thing was that he's somebody that we have been very close, so we understand each other so well. So I had to make sure that I firstly learn people that I've been given to work with, and how am I going to contribute in making them better people. And I'm happy to say today that many of them have grown. Some of them are now part of the technical team at the new team called Black Lions. Some are still with Joining Galaxy. Some are with the national team. So we have tried to build an understanding. And I'm also happy that when I got to Joining Galaxy, the group of players I found there, we worked so well, we achieved so many things. And many of them today are part of the national team, and they're playing regularly. So I think the most important thing was firstly to understand the culture and be able also to know that you are in a different country, different players, different technical team, different way of doing things, and you need to adapt to that. And I think that's one part that has helped me a lot.
Sorry about that, Coach. Colleagues,
Okay.
I have set the automatic mute when people come in, but just be aware to make sure that you are on mute if you're not asking a question. Were you done answering that question, Coach, before
Yes.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Jabs, go for it.
Morning, Coach. Jabulo from News 24. It's just two quick one from me. Firstly, what does it mean for you to be leading a team at the Nations Cup? And secondly, as one of the flag bearers who left South African shores early in terms of coaches of one and worked outside, what do you think has been behind this growing number of coaches who've left the country and are doing well, not just on the continent, but also other parts of the globe? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yalla Koto. I think, let's be honest, South Africa is blessed with talent, I can start with the journalists that you are having in the country. We need to be honest. You guys are doing a great work, and you can see that other countries are learning so much from you. So I think with coaches, the same thing. We are at a stage where we need to have more numbers outside, because let's be honest, the market is becoming smaller for the number of coaches we have in the country. And those who are brave enough will pack their bags and go. We have Coach Mandla in Swaziland. We have Coach Rulani in Algeria. We have a lot of our top coaches who are now outside the country. And I think it's because remaining in the country, we are delaying and we are denying ourselves an opportunity to grow. And there's a need for us outside the country, because I think there's too much quality. And having too much quality, not producing or working, then it's going to end up not benefiting the country. So I think we need to be honest. We have only 32 teams, First Division 16 and Premier League 16. So imagine the number of coaches who are qualified with A licenses, then they need to go out and start working. And I think many coaches are now starting to have that interest of going out. We have Coach Owen here in Botswana. We have Coach Yelo Solonyane here in Botswana. So you can see that coaches are now starting to move. We have Coach Maseko in Lesotho. There are a lot of coaches who are now starting to go outside the country. Coach Fadlu has been doing very well. He is now in Morocco. So you can count a number of coaches who have been doing well. So for me, I think it shows that there is so much talent in SA, and that talent needs to be used by other countries to improve the standard of football, especially in the African continent.
Let's move on now to...
Oh,
okay, Njabula, you've got a follow-up here?
It was just the first one, Coach, on what does it mean for you to be leading a team at the Nations Cup?
To be honest with you, Branjabula, I'm very happy. And I think sometimes there are things that we need to understand, that as much as it's you who will be celebrated or maybe getting the recognition, but there are young coaches out there who need to know that it is possible. And it doesn't matter where you're coming from. If you believe and if you're working hard, you can achieve greater things. And I think for me, I have always been saying, God has been good in my journey. God has been good to me. I still feel that this was a spiritual journey for me to be where I am. And I still say, I need to remain humble, keep working hard. And there are a lot of things that we will achieve. There are bigger things that we can achieve if we humble ourselves and keep working hard. But to be honest with you, I'm very excited, I'm very happy, and I'm very humbled to have been given this responsibility by Botswana Football Association. The president of Botswana Football Association has given me the confidence, has given me the opportunity to grow as a coach, CEO, and everybody, the technical committee, they have been supporting me. And I think it's up to me now to say, what do I do to make them happy as well?
Thank you, Coach. Let's move now to Vuyo, then Brajakes, and then Togozisi. Vuyo, you can kick us off.
Thanks, Bazola. Good morning, Coach. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. It's Vuyo from Newsroom Africa. Coach, I just want to rewind back to Afcon 2023, and I think one of the things that came out as we observed the tournament will be, I think it's a tournament that really proved sort of the gap in African football. It showed that it has significantly been reduced over the years. I mean, with the standard of African football growing in exceptional leaps and bounds. I wanted to one on the observation of that when you watch back at Afcon 2023, just how the gap was just closing in the standard of the football teams around the continent, and if that is now bringing a little bit of motivation for your team going into this Africa Cup of Nations tournament. One would think that it's growing even lesser. And I also want to just reference the fact that, I mean, you played an Egypt team and you held them to a 1-1 draw, and that was in North Africa where we are going. So at the back of that, observing Afcon 2023 and the standard of football growing, have you noticed that standard growing, and is that giving you motivation in going to this Afcon as one of sort of the lesser profile teams on the African continent? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much, Bravo. To be honest with you, I think I've been following that, and even if you can check even the qualifiers, I mean, you realize that the gap is now becoming like narrow. People are starting to. I think one thing that we can simply say, countries with maybe low profile, they coach too much, to a point where with the coaching, they ended up being able to compete with your top countries, or one would say highly ranked countries. Because one thing that I've picked, most of the time, countries with good profiles, they win because of individuals who influences their game. But countries like smaller countries, they do well because they play and work as a team. And that's one part that it has made a difference, because it has allowed us coaches to be able to influence the way we want the team to play, because we know that with us, it's not about getting something special from Sergio Mane, because when you don't have those kind of players, but you have players who are talented, who are still young, who are still on the verge of making their names. So obviously, they still take instructions, they still try as hard as they can to execute exactly what you want. So that's the reason why you see that the gap is coming narrow, because now people are starting to compete with tactics that are coming into the game. And to be honest with you, I think if you can check, there's a lot of coaching in Africa now. Going from club football into the national team, you'll see that clubs or teams are being coached properly now. And you go to the national team, you see structures, you see teams that are very consistent in their tactical elements of their game. So these are some of the things that have helped the gap to be narrowed, because I think everybody is now competing with whatever they have to make sure that they do well. Another thing that we can't run away from, it is the fact that the principle of counter-attack in Africa is becoming dominant, because I think we start to understand that with less quality, or maybe a quality that is not the same as that of your opponents, you'll always have to make sure that you have numerical superiority in your defensive zones, and you try as hard as you can to capitalize on the gaps and areas they open. So these are some of the things that have made things look more like the competition is becoming narrow, or maybe we can say the gap is becoming closer now. So that is the reason.
Rajakes? We can't hear you, Brajakes. I don't know. I see you're unmuted, but your voice is not coming through. Okay, try now. Yeah, we still can't hear you. Maybe you can try again, Brajakes, or you can send your question on the message chat or directly to me on WhatsApp. We'll come back to you in a short while. Maybe let's move to Togozisi. We'll come back. We'll circle back to Brajakes.
Greetings, Coach. Am I audible?
How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah, you are.
Good. Oh, thank you so
Sure.
much for the opportunity, Coach. I saw when you named your 55-man provisional squad, you also included Benson Kitsomaholo. You look at his time at Richards Bay now, he's only started one game so far, not looking good for him in terms of game time. How much of a concern is that? And does that jeopardize his chances of going to the Afcon? Quite interesting because you worked with him at Johannesburg Galaxy and you probably trust him very much, yeah.
To be honest, Kitso is a very talented player. Really, it's worrying that he's not getting minutes at Richards Bay. But at the end of the day, I always say coaches make decisions and you need to respect their decisions. The thing is, there are two things that we looked when we make the selection. Some of the players, we know that they were coming from injuries, and some were saying there's still time. They might give him some minutes before the Africa Cup of Nations. Secondly, you have about 4 weeks of preparation. Will you be able to try and be able to activate those that you feel that they need to be activated because of not maybe being able to play the required minutes or so? But what was important was to say, let's have everybody, so that we don't deny ourselves a chance of selecting the best team we can have. So I think on the left side where Mangolo is playing, there are a couple of players that have also been included. There's Chico Mulefe, who's playing for Johannesburg Galaxy. He has been very consistent. He played a lot of matches. When we played Egypt, he was playing as a left wing back. When we changed the system, because we needed somebody that can be able to control the wider corridor, and he did well. There's a young boy called Tafi, he's playing for Muchudi Center Chiefs. But we're trying to say, do we have enough options? We have Mutusi Johnson, who has been playing as a regular on the left side. So we have a couple of options. So I think for us, it's a matter of saying, one, you have time. If you go into a camp on time, you'll be able to drill and activate those that you want to maybe fast track their readiness. And also, there are still a couple of matches to be played before the start of our preparation. So we are looking at that. We have a couple of players who have not really been getting the minutes we would want them to. For example, Orebonye has not yet been playing regularly the way we want, but we know what Orebonye can do. So these are some of the things that we had to take into consideration when we make the selection.
Okay, Coach, Brajakes has sent me his question. I think he was having an issue with his speaker, but he's asking, let me read it to you quickly. He wants to know about your realistic goals for the Afcon, particularly given the kind of group you are in. I mean, the Teranga Lions, Senegal there, DR Congo, we've just watched them now qualify for the intercontinental playoffs for the World Cup. Benin have been growing in leaps and bounds under coach Genadro as well. And obviously, the Zebras are there as well. Just what's your realistic goal and what is the mandate from BFA?
The plan is to go for the knockout stage, which we all know that it would require a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work, a lot of good performances from individuals, and a lot of proper analysis from our side. So all these things, obviously, I always say, football has taught me that if you want to achieve something, you must work as hard as you can towards what you want to achieve. And obviously, I won't be sitting here and say, no, we just want to play. The pressure is there. We need to do well. We need to make sure that we get points. We qualify for the next phase of the tournament, and which I feel that it is possible. We need to make sure that we do proper things for us to achieve what we want to achieve.
He was also asking if there's a specific mandate from BFA as well, Coach.
Yes, the mandate is there, and which is obvious that the association would want us to go to the next stage of the tournament, which is the knockout stage. And I think we all know that without targets, I mean, there's no need for us to have activities, because it will simply mean that we are not planning to change the situation. So I think the challenges are there, the targets are there. It's for us to make sure that we prepare well and try as hard as we can to achieve those targets.
And coach, how do you sort of rate your opponents? I've just read them out, and obviously they've got quite a pedigree in the competition as well over the years. Whereas Botswana have been in and out of the Afcon over the years.
Yeah, this is our second participation in the Africa Cup of Nations, and I think the previous edition we did not do well because we did not pass the group stage. So obviously we are going for the second time. The aim is to try as hard as we can to do well. I think we need to be honest. We are talking of a great football nations or countries who have been doing very well in the continent. I think, if I'm not wrong, Senegal is rated #1 in the continent, if I'm not wrong. You talk of Benin, that have been very, very, very consistent. They were giving South Africa a very, very tough competition for the World Cup qualifier. You talk of DRC, like you said, their recent performance in qualifying for World Cup has shown that they have a very good team. And I think one thing very good about them, they have those individuals who influence their game. There's a boy wearing #7 there. He influences their game, and you can see that they have a very good way of planning for games. If they want to be direct, they bring Mayela. If they want to have more of combinations, they have the #17, because they know that he's more comfortable in dropping into the spaces. And they also have the 3 in the midfield who complement each other so well. And they know how to support the box. They know how to charge set pieces. If there's one thing that I've picked, they have that element of being very aggressive in charging set plays. They have 2 good center backs who can also play those long balls, and who are very comfortable in dealing with the 1v1s, very strong in the air. The left fullback likes to come. He likes to go forward. The right fullback is a bit disciplined. You can see that sometimes he calculates. He's not just throwing himself like the left side. The left side always wants to go. So these are some of the things that we have picked. We know what to expect with Senegal as well, because they also have the very strong front 3 with Jacobs coming into the areas at the right time. So they also have a very good a way of doing things. But the most important thing is to say, you know what they can do, you know their weaknesses and their strength. So the most important thing is to say, what are you doing in terms of making sure that you do well and you plan properly for them? So to be honest, we can't run away from the fact that those are powerhouses, or those are countries with good pedigree, with a good profile. But the most important thing is for you to sit down, try to break down their game, and be able to find solutions in each and everything they do. And I think by doing that, it will give you a chance of performing well and be able to do well against them.
Thanks, Coach. With your permission, we'll take a few more before we wrap up. Tando, then we'll circle back to. I'm still looking for new hands, but if not, we'll go back to Mtogozisi and Vuyo. But for now, Tando, go for it.
Good morning, Coach. You're speaking to Embe from Sports Boom. It's a pleasure to speak to you today. I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, when you took over at the national level, what was the biggest adjustment that you had to make coming from club football? And the second question is that Botswana is seen as an emerging football nation. And with the Afcon coming up, how do you manage expectations while still pushing the team towards ambitious targets?
Yeah, thank you very much. One, I think when I took over, it was not easy for me to adjust to the office work that I had to do versus the ground work that I was doing at club football. Now at national team, it's about reports, it's about planning and all of that. So it's different, but which I think to some extent I needed that, because I think I had spent more time planning for how to get 3 points and how to achieve long-term goals. But with the national team, it's about player development, it's about team performance, and all those things. So I think it has helped me in a way that administratively I had to play a role also in making sure that I do things proper. Again, I think the other thing, like you are saying, people always expect that you do well, you win matches and all of that. And these are demands that we can't run away from, because they are there and people always want us to do well. We're going for the Africa Cup of Nations. People are expecting us to do well. And you need also to try and complement whatever expectation with your commitment and your hard work in making sure that we try and achieve those things. So for me, I think we can't run away from the fact that the expectation is so high, and people are expecting much from us, and we need also to try and give more so that we can be able to look back and give a smile.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go to a new hand, Siasanga.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Coach. Siasanga here from the Sunday World. Coach, I'm still on the Afcon. As a fellow South African, what do you make of the strides that Coach Hugo Bruce has been able to make with Bafana, and also how far do you think Bafana can go in the Afcon this year?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Coach Hugo has done a tremendous work, honestly. He has done a great work. And I think one thing that happened, Coach Hugo came in at the time when I think the hope was lost, and the confidence was not there. And it needed someone to come in and try to implement things that will help, which I think it worked for him, because the first thing that he did was to try and make sure that he get maybe a young group of players who will maybe quickly adapt to what he wants. Secondly, the consistency in terms of player selection. Thirdly, I think being as honest as you can, because I think sometimes with the positions we are holding, we'll always try to make sure that we put things in a polite way. But I think with Coach Hugo, it has always been yes or no, green or black. So for me, I think that's one thing that he has done right. If he feels that I don't need this player, he's not going to try and put it nicely. He'll just say the way it is. If he feels that the team did not perform well, if he feels that the association did not do something that he wanted, he'll just be bold enough and go out and say, I wanted this, I did not get this. So these are some of the things that I think helped him to achieve and to change things in the Bafana camp, and it worked for him. I think the other thing, I once had a meeting with him after the 2021 COSAFA, and players like Nico Mobi came from there. He took a couple of players from that group, and along the way he started to pick those that he will need regularly. So one thing I know about him is that he's a very, very straight person. If he feels that something will work for him, he will try his best to make sure that he makes sure that whatever that he believes in works. So I think these are some of the things that we learn, we pick from him, and we say, if he has been able to change things around and be able to make Bafana what it is today, then it's a challenge to us as young coaches to say, can we learn and also pick things that can make us better people, especially in this game where you need also to address things with honesty and also with respect. And as coming to how they will perform, I still feel that there's so much that the current Bafana team can give. My only worry is that if maybe they can be complacent, they're not going to achieve greater things. They have talented players. Sometimes working with young players, the advantage is that they will always try to push, but they quickly become excited when things goes well, because to them is that they always try to challenge themselves. And if there is nothing that is challenging them, they become complacent sometimes. But I still feel that with proper focus, proper mentality, they have a chance of maybe playing with us maybe in the semifinals.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go to Chairman Velile.
Yeah, thanks, SG. Coach, maybe just to continue with Coach Hugo, I don't think a lot of people will recall that you could have been a part of this Bafana coaching revival, working with Coach Hugo, because I remember you were instrumental in helping him with selecting the first Bafana team for, I think it was the first official matches, not the friendly. And how was that interaction for you with him at the time, in terms of what did it detail to you that he was looking for at the time? And maybe just to look at the Afcon now, because in this current format of Afcon, 3 points could be enough to even get you to the second, to the knockout phase. How important is just one win in this coming Afcon?
Thanks very much.
Because Botswana has never progressed beyond the group stages.
Thanks very much, Bravi. Yeah, true. Let me answer the first one. To be honest, I think we had about 1 hour, 2 hours meeting with Coach Hugo, and listening to him, I knew exactly what Coach Hugo wanted in terms of player profiling. I always tell people that if you look at the setup of Coach Hugo's team, you'll always have a strong number 9 that can hold the ball. You'll always have a strong number 6. You always have a strong center back, a strong goalkeeper. That's how he built his team. Secondly, on the fullbacks, you'll always see that as much as they might have offensive qualities, both of them, but there's another one that is not going as far as the other one is going. As for wingers, you always want speed for the wingers. So I think when he profiled the team for me, in the back of my mind, I knew that Coach Hugo will use these players. That is why if you can check how Bafana is scoring goals, either they score from a second ball, they score from crosses, or combinations from wider corridors, because that's where he has a lot of speed. So these are some of the things that when he was explaining to me the types of players he wanted, we had to engage and maybe checking the players. One of the players that he liked, unfortunately, I think it was during the time that maybe he started to struggle to get minutes, was Lebu Mutiba, because he always believes in a number 9 that can be a point of reference in his game. And that is why I always tell people that Makgopa is not being used to score goals, but to be able to connect how the team plays. So those are some of the things that I picked from him, and I learned when he was profiling the types of players he wants. And you can see the other thing that I think Coach Hugo does not have complicated tactics. He's always having very clear strategies of saying, without the ball, these are areas that we need to block. with the ball, this is areas that we need to occupy. And you can see that even if you can profile the types of wingers he picks are the same. Apolis, Mahalwa, Nkota, they have the same qualities, because he believes more in creating width so that he can be able to dominate the central space. And I think that is why he will always have that soft spot for Mokoena, because Mokoena knows how to get those overloads and how he's able also to pick passes and runs with how they play. So for me, I've learned that's one thing that he's mastering. Maybe coming into the second question, Bravi, I think honestly speaking, with everything that is happening currently in football, it is possible to get even more than 3 points, because I think we can't run away from the fact that as much as opponents will sit down and do profiling and analysis, there's always this thing that, but we are better than them, we have better quality than them, and these are things that helps us also to increase or raise the bar so that we can be able to make sure that we do well. So I strongly feel that it is in us whether to qualify or not. But we have proven that we have the capability of doing well. We have done that against all odds. We're in Egypt, where no one gave us a chance, because we're playing against a top team of Egypt, but we managed to do well. We even scored first. And so it is possible.
Okay, Coach, we've entered extra time now. We're going to ask Kamu and TT to take us home, but we'll also then finish off with repeat questions from Mtogozisi and Vuyo. But Kamu, start us off first.
Thanks, Mazola. Thank you for your time today, Coach. Kamukelo from Sokala Duma here. Coach, I wanted to find out, a lot was made about, Bafana Bafana's last Afcon, and how, the Sundowns experience in the Champions League played a huge part in that. Obviously, you were coach of Jwaneng for some time, and you led them to their last group stage expedition into the Champions League, where you played some top teams. But how much of those experiences on a club front that contribute to a successful AFCON campaign, where you beat Cabo Verde, and like you said, gave a good account of yourselves in places like Egypt and Algeria, that are traditionally known as, hostile environments. How much did those Jwaneng experiences contribute to that? Because a few players in your current Botswana squad are from Jwaneng anyway, and you know quite well.
Yeah, no, you're right. Many of them, some of them have left Jwaneng Galaxy. They have joined other clubs. So some were part of the national team while they were at Jwaneng Galaxy. You talk of Gilbert Baruti, he's one of the players. Then there's Tero Sitzile, who's currently playing in Libya. So I think, to be honest with you, I'll always encourage teams to make sure that they participate in the continental tournaments. They are very important. It's not only about getting into the field and play. Administratively, there are a lot of things that you learn. Technically, there are a lot of things that you learn. And above all, for you to survive in continental tournaments, you need strong mental strength, because there are a lot of challenges that requires you to be on your toes and be able to withstand whatever that opponents are bringing. People do whatever to make sure that they get 3 points. I was watching Pirates and FC Lupopo the other day, and I said, this is African football, where people will do whatever to make sure that they give you a red card. They do whatever to make sure that you lose your emotions and ended up getting a red card or making fouls. So I think there's a lot of work that you get, or maybe a lot of experience that you pick from participating in the African continent tournaments. And one would simply talk of Mamelodi Sundowns that in the previous edition, their experience in the African continent and having most players from Mamelodi Sundowns helped Coach Hugo to build a formidable team. You can see now that the team is more mixed now, maybe with a lot of players from Pirates, because after all, he still wants to play with a high intensity. So Pirates is using a lot of young players. So for me, I think it's very important to play in the African continent, especially the Champions League, the Confederations Cup. It helps you a lot because, like I'm saying, you go to Tanzania and you realize that here it's not about only tactics. You need to be strong mentally. The stadium is full. The supporters are pushing their team. You need to also try and make sure that you calm your players down so that they can be able to perform well. So all these things are very important. And that is why if you look at the level of football, the southern part of Africa is now starting to do well because I think that was one part we were lacking in the past. The North Africans were dominating African football because of the mental strength and all the challenges they were putting you under before the game, which they knew that will affect your performance. Now the southern part is now doing well because mentally we understand and we know that these are some of the things that might happen in a game.
TT.
Good morning, fam. Good morning, Coach Themba Shabalala.
Good morning, Shasha.
Coach, I mean, you just answered the latter part of my question to you as you just finished speaking. The Southern African region is fast catching up with what the others, whether North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, is doing in terms of imposing themselves in the game as a whole, whether individually so or collectively. You just put up a Mr. Mukoko, example just not long ago. I'm looking at that. What has been a major shift that has helped us to level up to this? I mean, the participation of Mamelodi Sundowns in the CAF space and how they've gone about it. I mean, putting their footprint there. How much of that has helped us, and where do you put your headspace around the growth? I mean, Botswana just now, you are there, you're going to the Afcon. I mean, we just played Zambia the other day as South Africa, and we saw them as well. They're a very strong team. They've always been a difficult opponent for us. But of course, South Africa has qualified for the World Cup without even any doubt, even though we've lost the 3 points to the Morena saga and all of that. How much of that would you attribute to our leagues doing well, our individuals working so hard to level up, because the playing fields are now slightly getting equal? But of course, on your personal note, does this now you growing with the squads as Botswana and with the Botswana football in general coming from Jwaneng and all of that, does it change the conversation of you now wanting to coach in South Africa instead looking outside of the continent, or even upper in the continent where the Rulanis, the Pizzos, the Fatlus are playing?
Thank you very much, Pratemba. Pratemba, I've been saying this to many people that there's impact that we can't ignore. The impact of AMA 2000. I think they are very stubborn, very arrogant. They're not afraid, and that's one thing that has changed a lot of things, especially in the southern part, because many of them have been getting that opportunity of representing the country at a very young age. So they are very arrogant. They go out there. They want to do well. And secondly, I think the current group of players that we have produced, I think they have that mentality of fighting up until the end, and mixing the arrogance that the younger ones are bringing, and the confidence and the sustainability of performance from the senior guys. I think it has brought a bit of change. North Africans have always been cheating us with the technique. We have always been having technique, but we never had the mental strength and the confidence to do well. And I think that's one part that we have mastered now. we believe in what we are doing. And now the North Africans are starting to struggle to compete with us because they are not quicker like us. Technically, we are better than them. Also now, I think element of coaching has also helped the southern part to grow, because I think the influence of European football in the north has always played a huge role, because for them, and that is why when you look at most of the players in the north, they quickly go and play in Spain, they quickly go and play in England and all these other countries in the European part. So the reason is that I think it's because technically they've always been consistent, but we are coming in now with a technique, and there is something very special they're doing. Now when they profile, they look into the south. Why? Because they are aware that there is something they are missing, and now they need to study what we are doing. While we are busy celebrating the performance of Thembinko Siloj, they are busy analyzing the strength of Thembinko Siloj and what is it that Thembinko is doing. Because with Thembinko Siloj, you can easily get the characteristics of South African players. So they put him there. While he's doing well, they are saying, oh, these are the things that he's good at, and these are the things that we need to teach our young ones. So they have taken some of the players from the southern part of Africa for a reason, and I think very soon we'll realize that they will start competing again with us. But I still feel that for me, so far the southern part is doing well, and I also want to give credit to the coaches. I think they're doing a great work, because you can see when you are watching a match that, hey, there's a high level of coaching in this game. As for the club opportunity, Bratemba, I think at the moment the focus is making sure that as a coach I learn as much as I can. I pick a lot of things that will make me a better coach, because I think every day after the camp, when I sit here, I start doing analysis and I start to say, okay, these are some of the elements that are growing in my game, are growing in my coaching career. Then it means I need to be consistent in 1, 2, 3, 4. So to be honest with you, I think the opportunity that I found myself in, it is now making me a better coach than I was at club football. And I think I needed this kind of a challenge for me to grow and for me to be a better coach.
Okay, Coach, final 2 questions. Let's take Togozisi and Vuyo.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. You've got a Xolani Khosa there at Black Lions. Played in DDC last season for Chiefs. Obviously, wanting that breakthrough to the senior team, and he's come there on loan. Just what are your thoughts about that move when you consider the level of the league there, and just maybe your thoughts about his progress in Botswana? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fortunately, Kolan, I wanted him because I have a very good relationship with Coach Vela. So I wanted him at joining Galaxy, and we had already finalized things. Unfortunately, when the move had to happen, I think there was a possibility of him being promoted to the senior team, and we had to withdraw. Unfortunately, he had to play another season in the DDC. But I think if one has to advise, a lot of teams in South Africa, and which is something that I was saying this side about our junior teams, especially the national teams. I said, we have the under-20s, they go for COSAFA. After COSAFA, they just disappear because we don't have proper channels where we put them so that they can grow and be ready for the Zebras. And it's the same thing with the DDC program. The DDC program has benefited many players, but at the same time, there are a lot of players that have just disappeared with good talent, just because maybe in his position there is someone doing well and the team could not promote him to the senior team. For me, I think it's high time that South African teams with DDC clubs, they need to start having relationships with teams in Botswana where they can easily place some of their good players, because I still feel that they will grow. For an example, there's Mufokeng at Muchudi Center Chiefs. When you look at Mufokeng, you can see that with how Pirates is playing, if Mufokeng can be consistent, he can be one of the wingers in the next season, because he's exactly what you get from the wingers at Orlando Pirates. So for me, I think it's a very good platform for players to grow, because the league is also growing. The league is becoming very competitive and it's very physical. So if you get your players to play this side, I still feel that maybe in a year or two they will be ready to play in the senior team. It's always difficult for Xolani to break into the senior team of Kaizer Chiefs, because there they want results, there they want to be consistent, they want to win. They don't have time to experiment. So that is why maybe it will be difficult for Xolani. If one has to talk of McCarthy, he had to play the national team. He was part of the Chan team, which I think it prepared him for the senior team challenges. So for me, I feel that it's very important that this opportunity can be used by many clubs to say, we have these players, can you have a look at them? Matebele is one of the teams that is coached by Yeyele Solonyane. They are playing with a lot of young players, and if you get 2-3 young players from South Africa, from the DDC league, who have graduated, they can come here and contribute. So I think that's the most important thing. And again, I still feel that many of the players that are coming in from South Africa, they are doing well, honestly. There's also one boy at Matebele, I think it's Mufokeng Khotso. It's Khotso something. He was playing for Sekhukhune, played for a couple of clubs. He's doing very well here. So I think personally, it's a good thing that we see. But at the same time, I still say there's so much that Xolani can give. He's a very good player, very strong in the air, and very strong technically. In his first match, I was watching him scoring a set piece between the center line and the 18, and he took a beautiful shot. He scored the goal. So these are players that you say, from here, he can easily go back to Kaizer Chiefs and claim his position.
Okay, final question, Coach. Vuyo will take us home.
Thanks again, Mazola. Thanks again, Coach. Just two in closing, Coach. The first one, I was just listening back as you were explaining Coach Hugo Broos and his tactics and the type of game plan that he has. And I was just thinking, of course, on your side, you know him personally, but the way that you were explaining it, another coach on the other side of the continent is also trying to predict Bafana Bafana's game plan and play, and looking back at how Hugo Broos plays his certain players at whatever positions. And I'm just thinking how if that could be an Achilles heel for us going to Afcon, and I mean in a sense of Bafana being predictable, because in 2023, yes, we're not that profiled much, only then to rise up as one, I guess, if you want to say dark horses. But this time around, we have a big spotlight on us. Just guarding against being a predictable team going into this. Like I said, you know him personally, but I think as we're explaining it, another coach on the other side of the continent is also trying to make sure that he understands Coach Hugo Broos the same way that you are. So predictability. And on the second one, Coach, just Botswana as a nation itself, the one, of course, they'll be backing the national team, but how much do they want this for the nation, especially now that they've tasted success in the nation? And then success, I mean it in the sense of the athletics team. Let's say Letebogo at the World Championships recently, Colin Kebinachipi doing very well. So the nation itself has tasted what success means, or a team or certain teams going out and coming back, and they have those bus rides and everything. The same way, I think, in South Africa, you had the Springboks succeeding, and then that sort of motivation reach going to other teams like the cricket team and then going into now Bafana Bafana and the rest of the team. So it has moved to all the national teams to say, let's all bring success. I wonder if that's possibly the same state in Botswana now, post what the athletics team has been doing on the world stage, which is now leaning on also the football team to go out and have success and bring it back home. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks very much, Bravo. I think, let's be honest, yes. People will do profile, people will analyze, people will say this is what they're doing and this is what they are good at. But let's be honest, above everything, Bafana Bafana is winning a lot of matches because of the intensity they use. They play with high intensity, and the reason why they have that intensity, it's because of the age group in their team. And let's be honest, speed has taken over football. If you can go and analyze Barcelona, you'll realize that as much as they still want to be seen possessing the ball and all of that, but there's element of speed in their game because they know that they need to get as quick as possible behind the defensive lines. You look at Real Madrid, you look at Liverpool, many clubs, you'll see that if there's one thing that dominates their game, it's speed. So for me, I think for you to plan against speed, you need also to have speed. You can plan against speed, but if you don't have speed, you might struggle because it simply means that you'll be able to block certain zones. But when speed comes over and over, you might ended up have to bring speed. And if you can't bring speed, you might ended up struggling. So for me, I think the good thing with the current team now, I think it's a lot of young players, and it has allowed Code Hugo to change them around because there are too many good players in the team. So I think those are some of the things that will work. Yes, it's not gonna be like the way it was in the previous edition where we were more like a closed book. Now people start to analyze us deeper. People start to say this is the things that we can use against them. One thing that I'm still concerned about is how we defend set pieces, which is one part that I think they need to also to work on. I think coming to us as a country, to be honest, I think in most of my team talks, I don't make a mistake of not reminding our boys of the success that the athletics have brought in the country. We talk of Letsile, they've been doing very well. So most of the time I always either play a video reminding them of how they are winning and how they are doing, or I speak about those individuals in reminding them that these are the people that carry the flag of this country to another level, and we also have to do the same. So for me, I think, like you said, Bafana Bafana had to watch and learn from what the Springboks were doing, and with us, we also had to make sure that we learn so much from our athletes who have been doing very well, and I think it's helping us to also learn and say, if Tebogo can go to the Olympics, the highest level of competition in the world, and come back home with a gold medal, a boy from Botswana, then what's more that you can't maybe go out and do your best? So I think the responsibility is there. It's for us to do well too. I still say if there's a country that loves their team, it's Botswana. You know, every Friday you walk around, you'll see people wearing the Zebras jerseys to show that they are behind the team. They are supporting the team. The other day I was at the airport and it was on Friday. I was in the same flight with people who were going to South Africa. I think in that flight, more than 30 people were wearing the Zebras jerseys. So you can understand the passion and the love they have for their team. So I think it's now up to us to go out and do well and make sure that we make them proud.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much, colleagues. Coach Morena, I believe we will catch up with you at the Afcon. Although we'll be in Marrakesh, you'll be in Tangier and Rabat, but hopefully our paths will cross. But again, from Safja Chairman Velile Mnyandu and the rest of us, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity for this Q&A.
Ke a leboha haholo fela. Ke lebohile, ke lebohetsa le nako ya lona.
Thank you, Coach. Goodbye.